Greetings fellow gamers, I'm the Soulsborne Seeker and I'm back with a massive video showcasing 28 upcoming indie Metroidvania games you probably haven't heard of, expected to release sometime in 2023 or later. Before we start, as always, a kind reminder to please consider subscribing to the channel if you end up enjoying this content, since it will help me reach even more people and spread the knowledge far and wide. And now, without further ado, let's dive into it. We begin our journey with Akita King Pig Thinks Pink, a 2D platformer Metroidvania influenced by games like Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap, Hollow Knight, and Shanta and the Seven Sirens. Akita takes place in the fantasy world of Fansia, a place terrorized by the fearsome King Pig, a tyrant with a plan to transform all of the realm's inhabitants into evil monsters through the use of a pink mist. You take on the roles of Akita and Lucy, two inseparable friends who embark on a risky adventure to stop King Pig's ploy and save their world from destruction. What's great about Akita is that you can play the whole game cooperatively with a friend, making it one of the few games in the genre to have such a feature. With a comrade by your side, a big cast of colorful characters to meet, and a huge map full of secrets, puzzles, and foes to discover, Akita is shaping up to become a truly fun experience. Akita King Pig Thinks Pink has no release date as of yet, but has been confirmed for PC, with a potential release for Nintendo Switch if the game is successful. Next comes Arcane Assembly, a fantasy Metroidvania title with a focus on player creativity. Here you will don the weathered cloak of a wizard who wants to become the most powerful spellcaster the world has ever witnessed. To that end, the game offers you a unique spellcrafting system which allows you to fuse different elements together in order to create new hexes and incantations, as well as power up your already existing ones as you go up against increasingly difficult enemies and hostile biomes. If Arcane Assembly manages to meet its ambition, it might go on to become a point of reference for what you can do by approaching ability acquisition while thinking outside the box for games of the genre. Arcane Assembly has no release date as of yet, but has been confirmed for PC. Following, we have Barbarian Saga: The Beastmaster, an action-adventure Metroidvania game with art reminiscent of cartoons from the 80s and 90s and heavily inspired by the sword and sorcery genre of fantasy fiction. The story transpires in the realm of Arborea, a war-torn land that's in the middle of a conflict between a powerful king and the non-human inhabitants of the land. You brandish the Blade of Ren, the last Beastmaster of Arborea, a man with the ability to use the souls of animals to take their shape. The warrior of prophecy, destined to unite humans and beasts and bring peace to this tortured place. His journey will pit him against powerful foes as well as introduce invaluable allies across a world full of hidden secrets waiting to be uncovered, including new sword techniques as well as materials in the form of fangs, amulets, and plant roots, all of which will improve his attacks, health, and mana. What's of interest here is that at certain parts of the game there is an arena element that has you battling foes in gladiatorial style, turning gameplay into a beat-em-up variant similar to series like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter and awarding you with special rewards if you emerge victorious. Barbarian Saga: The Beastmaster has no release date as of yet, but will be coming out for PC. Moving on, there's Blue, a 2.5D action Metroidvania game with a ninja theme. Blue tells the story of its titular namesake, a young ninja apprentice living in the world of Tampa, a place once protected by a group of noble guardians. As fate would have it, the guardians eventually became tainted by a diabolical entity that turned them into the Corrupted, who are now hell-bent on bringing back to life a legendary entity that will shape the land into a living nightmare. Wielding an impressive array of weapons as well as the energy of elemental magic, Blue will travel through the once flourishing realm of Talpa as she tries to end the oppression of the Corrupted and prevent the advent of a dystopian future. Blue has no release date as of yet, but has been confirmed for PC.
Fuck are you to tell me what to do? I don't give a damn if you say you disapprove. I'm gonna make my move, I'm gonna make it soon, and I'll do it cause it's what I wanna fucking do. Cause all these opinions and all these positions, they come in millions, they blocking your vision. But no, you can't listen, that shit is all fiction. Cause you hold the power as long as you're dreaming.
Farther down the path we have Chaffee and the Space Hunter, an action platformer Metroidvania with a strong foundation on science fiction. Strap into the spacesuit of Chaffee as she finds herself in a hostile world and embark on a treacherous journey to return home. The game features a diverse range of alien biomes for you to explore, as well as intense battle sequences and platforming segments that will put your reflexes to the test. Chaffee and the Space Hunter has no release date as of yet, but has been confirmed for PC.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Beats. Beats who? Beats the shit out of you.
Next up there's Chains of Fury, a high adrenaline fast-paced Metroidvania shooter inspired by comics such as Hellboy and Lobo, as well as the Quake, Doom and Duke Nukem video game series. In Chains of Fury you will step into the battle-hardened boots of our irreverent, unnamed protagonist, a gun for hire that was betrayed by his former clients and locked behind bars. Needless to say, our anti-hero will have none of it, and decides to escape his prison while doing his best to leave behind the highest body count possible. The jail complex you're trapped in is divided into different levels, each featuring Metroidvania-type exploration that has you smashing through enemies and walls to discover secrets and upgrades that will make you strong enough to beat the level boss, before moving on to the next area. Levels can be explored multiple times, with each run yielding money and other types of loot that add to your badassery as you storm your way down the road to vengeance. Chains of Fury has no release date as of yet, but has been confirmed for PC, with versions for PS4, PS5, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, as well as the Xbox Series X and Series S to follow later on. Then comes Dormiviglia, a 2D Metroidvania title with a focus on puzzles and storytelling. Dormiviglia takes place in the world of Elysium and starts in the peaceful town of Spring Plaza, where our protagonist named Quinn lives. Quinn is one of the 4 heroes of Elysium, each one tasked with protecting one of the 4 towns at the corners of the realm. One fateful day, Quinn is woken up by a distressed citizen who tells her that Spring Plaza is under attack by Somnia, an evil sorceress on a quest to discover 4 powerful runes that will allow her to put the entire world under an eternal slumber. And so, a race against time begins as Quinn rushes to find the runes before Somnia and her minions, known as Nightcrawlers, get to them first. Dormiviglia places a lot of weight on platforming and puzzle solving, most of which relies on your smart use of Quinn's whip, which can be utilized to traverse and manipulate the environment, as well as deal with her enemies, with pulling, grabbing, dragging and throwing being just a few of the actions available to you. Dormiviglia has no release date as of yet, but has been confirmed for PC, with further plans for consoles if the game is successful. Coming up next we have Anilia, a dark fantasy Metroidvania with Souls-like elements. Anilia transpires in a mystical land that was created by a legendary race known as Athirids with the help of an entity known as the Source, which provided them with all the energy and knowledge they needed to nurture and evolve their world. Unfortunately, the last millennium found the Source fading away, forcing many brave souls to venture out into the realm in search of a new source, so far with no success. Anilia will have you exploring a beautifully handcrafted, vivid world drenched in deep lore, exciting challenges, and difficult boss fights as you travel deeper into the realm, ever closer to discovering the truth about its origin. It is of interest that the game will feature 4 different difficulty levels, effectively allowing players to experience it in a way that makes them comfortable. Anilia has no release date as of yet, but will be coming out for PC. Going onwards, there's Phaland, a fantasy Metroidvania game inspired by classics of the 8-bit era. Feyland takes place in a fantasy world where humans have done their best to build a kingdom while at the same time trying to maintain a safe distance from dark forces and monstrous beasts that lurk away from civilization. You take on the role of Sam, a skilled hunter living in a secluded cottage who is forced on the run when his home is raided by a group of vicious orcs and trolls. Barely escaping with his life, Sam embarks on a journey across the world in search of safety, not knowing that a large threat is slowly rising in the horizon and that he may be the realm's only hope for survival. Feyland will have you traverse an expansive world full of forests, caves, dungeons, and castles, all of which will be home to their own allies, secrets, as well as deadly threats. The game will feature a diverse arsenal of armaments for you to strike down your enemies with, as well as a side quest system that will allow you to obtain valuable loot as you inch closer to realizing your destiny as the savior of these lands. Feyland has no release date as of yet, but has been confirmed for PC, with further plans for consoles if the game is successful. Next comes Freya and the False Prophecy, an action-adventure Metroidvania inspired by Norse mythology. The game thrusts you into the life of Freya, a shield maiden traveling back home on her ship while returning from a raid. Unfortunately for her and her crew, the vessel is forced upon jagged rocks as a sudden, massive storm is unleashed upon them. The sole survivor of this tragedy, Freya is washed ashore her land only to discover that nothing is as she left it. A strange malady has gripped her home, and all clues point to the gods having something to do with it. Thus, Freya embarks on a journey of discovery and revenge, a dangerous quest that will bring her against the deities themselves as she travels across the 9 realms of Yggdrasil in search of answers. Freya and the False Prophecy places focus on challenging battles and exploration, where veering off the beaten path will reward you with new abilities, war cries, and runestones that will make combat easier. What's interesting here is that the game will also feature a story mode option for those who wish to experience the tale without having to struggle through difficult combat and platforming, making it ideal for hardcore and casual gamers alike. Freya and the False Prophecy has no release date as of yet, but I do need to mention that the developers have made an announcement stating that currently the game has been placed on hold indefinitely due to personal reasons. However, if the game eventually releases, and I really hope it does, it has been confirmed for PC, with further plans for consoles if it proves successful. Next on our way we find Lorefinder, a cosmic horror Metroidvania title inspired by the works of H.P. Lovecraft. In Lorefinder you become Casey Morgan, a paranormal investigator on a path to discover the whereabouts of your missing father, Richard Morgan, a university professor who disappeared without a trace. Eventually your search leads you to a mansion on an island off the coast of New England, owned by the mysterious Wright family. Once inside the manor, you finally realize the nightmare you've just walked into, as you find all residents and staff have turned into eldritch monstrosities as a result of some twisted occult influence, and are less than happy to see you. To make matters worse, your continued exploration of the estate reveals scrolls made of human skin, filled with text exposing you to dark, ancient lore that threatens to rend the fabric of reality itself, as well as your sanity, but also begins to piece together what actually happened to your missing parent. Of note here is that, due to the cosmic influence afflicting the place, the mansion features areas that change as you revisit them, effectively creating new surprises for you as you explore an ever-changing map in non-linear fashion. On that note, aside from the manor, your body will also become twisted in new and unexpected ways as you become more and more exposed to the maddening corruption, something that will lead to your obtaining of new powers that will allow you to take the fight to the monsters themselves, fighting fire with fire. As a big fan of Lovecraftian horror, I'm really looking forward to this one. Lorefinder has no release date as of yet, but has been confirmed for PC. Continuing our journey, there's Nectarmancer, an action platformer Metroidvania that's all about fighting, platforming, and gardening. Nectarmancer transpires in a fantasy world permeated by a life force known as Nectar and ruled by a collective known as the Throne, a group that makes use of said nectar because it affords them the ability of precognition, a skill that allows them to see into the future and anticipate upcoming events. However, the Throne's extended abuse of the nectar has upset the delicate balance that keeps the realm together, leading to the spirits of the land to become twisted as the ecology was tarnished in the process. You play as Aisa, a nectarmancer with the ability to plant, pollinate, and care for nectargenic plants across the world, making your job paramount to the continuation of the nectar's existence. As you travel these degrading lands, you will get to develop a large herbal network that will take care of you as much as you take care of it, with the ultimate goal being to end the Throne's stranglehold once and for all. Nectarmancer has no release date as of yet, but has been confirmed for PC. Following, we have Phantom Tides, an action-adventure platformer Metroidvania with a swashbuckling theme. Here you take on the role of a pirate captain as he sails across the seas and travels through various islands in search of a crew that will help him achieve his desire for revenge. The map of Phantom Tides is full of challenging bosses and minions for you to brave, as well as puzzles and platforming challenges to overcome. As expected from a pirate story, you'll get to meet a variety of different characters that you will either be able to befriend or cross, effectively providing an interesting social element into the mix. Phantom Tides has no release date as of yet, but has been confirmed for PC.
Again, travelers, I see my advice.
Then there's Recnum, Fantasy of Dreams, an action-adventure Metroidvania that is a direct sequel to Recnum Cherry Dreamland, a game that came out in April of 2021. Recnum Fantasy of Dreams picks up where the prequel left off, with our main character, Sherry, waking up from a fantasy in order to go on a real adventure across the kingdom of Recnum. To her dismay, her travels will pit her against a mighty sorceress who acts as the advisor of the kingdom's rulers while secretly trying to claim the crystal shards, a legendary secret source of unimaginable power hiding somewhere within the land. The world of Recnum features a diverse range of thematic biomes, each with its own enemies to face, secrets to discover, new weapons and skills to find, as well as lore to unearth. Recnum Fantasy of Dreams has no release date as of yet, but has been confirmed for PC and Nintendo Switch, as well as, surprisingly, the NES, Sega Mega Drive, and Sega Dreamcast consoles.
Oh, you foolish fairy! Now I will have the kingdom and the stones, and I will be unstoppable!
Strolling on, we find Rock's Odyssey, a 2D action-adventure Metroidvania title inspired by games like Hollow Knight. Rock's Odyssey takes place in a world where humanity's golden years have long since passed, now nothing but abandoned cities and forgotten ruins. With the remaining humans dwindling in number and fighting for survival against monsters led by an unknown evil, you will take on the role of Rock, a boy with strange powers that embarks on a journey to master his abilities while doing his best to recruit allies that will help him save humankind from extinction. A very interesting aspect of this game will be your ability to form and cultivate relationships with characters you meet along the way, which can then lead to those characters aiding you in battle by bringing unique abilities in your already impressive arsenal. I should mention that one of the creators of Rock's Odyssey has collaborated with Team Cherry of Hollow Knight fame in the past and learned a lot from them, so I believe we can expect some quality platforming, fighting and storytelling from this game. Rock's Odyssey has no release date as of yet, but has been confirmed for PC. Next on the road we have RWBY, The Wayward Mira, a 2D action-adventure platformer Metroidvania with rich science fiction elements. You are RWBY, a member of the alien race known as Mira, and your homeworld named Casimir is dying. After a failed experiment involving the Large Hadron Collider goes wrong, Casimir and our very own planet Earth begin to violently fuse together, leading to cataclysmic chaos and destruction. As RWBY, you will have to investigate these two clashing realities while fighting against members of your race that have gone mad and feral due to the collision, in an effort to stop the annihilation of your home and subsequently your people. The world of the game is vast and interconnected and can be explored in non-linear fashion, meaning you can go about completing the game in different ways, which can also lead to multiple endings. As expected of the genre, you'll be able to revisit previously inaccessible areas after having obtained the necessary abilities to do so, which will lead to the finding of secrets related to the game's lore, as well as optional power-ups and material that you'll be able to use to synthesize upgrades for your health, mana and attack power, among others. RWBY, The Wayward Mira has no release date as of yet, but has been confirmed for PC and Nintendo Switch. Now we go on to Sessions, a dark science fiction Metroidvania game that dives deep into the exploration of serious psychological themes. Sessions finds you stepping into the life of a synthetic human living in a post-apocalyptic world overrun by mysterious, dangerous creatures. It's a game that intends to explore topics related to existentialism as well as horrifying aspects of the human condition, so it is expected to have a strong, evocative narrative element to it. That being said, it is still a Metroidvania at its core, meaning you can expect the traversal of a sprawling, interconnected map featuring ability-gated exploration, as well as equipment and skill customization and a non-linear approach to game completion. It should be noted that Sessions is a sequel to a game called Redo, that came out back in August of 2019, though knowledge of the previous game is not necessary to play and enjoy this one. Sessions is expected to come out sometime near the end of 2023 and has been confirmed for PC. Then we have Suno's Curse, an action platformer Metroidvania title inspired by Hollow Knight and Journey. Here, your adventure begins as a nameless and silent protagonist traveling through a forest, until you come across the mouth of a mysterious cave with a message at its entrance stating that whatever it is you're looking for, it's not worth the price. Choosing to ignore the warning, you decide to venture forth into the cavern, a place crawling with monsters and plagued by deadly traps. As you keep traversing the tunnels, more and more pieces of your character's past are revealed, bringing to light his motivations and the reason why he decided to go into the cave despite the dangers. Suno's Curse places a lot of focus on storytelling, tackling themes such as friendship, love and regret, as well as the value of living in the moment. Suno's Curse has no release date as of yet, but has been confirmed for PC and Nintendo Switch. Moving farther down, there is Shield Cat, a top-down pixel art Metroidvania game with a collectathon approach. You are Lance the Otter, a mail courier for the Cat Kingdom, and you find yourself in hot water when you wake up one day to find your partner Parker has gone missing, dark magic has appeared everywhere, and King Cat has vanished. To make matters worse, everything points to Parker being the culprit. Thus, Lance embarks on a journey to clear his partner's name and hopefully save the Cat Kingdom from destruction. Shield Cat places a lot of emphasis on collectibles, featuring a world filled to the brim with secrets to discover, many of which are hidden behind areas for which certain abilities will be necessary for you to obtain passage. What's really interesting is that the game is filled with nostalgic references to games of the 90s era of video gaming, drawing inspirations and paying homage to titles such as The Legend of Zelda, Sonic the Hedgehog, and Donkey Kong Country among others. Shield Cat has no release date as of yet, but has been confirmed for PC. Next, our trip leads us to Shifters, a 2D stylized action Metroidvania game with steampunk sensibilities. Shifters will have you wield the weapons of Brahms, a young apprentice from a renowned family of explorers in the world of Essos, who finds himself unexpectedly transported in the parallel realm of Icarus while searching for his missing parents. Now trapped in a new place known as the Kingdom of Aden, Brahms will continue the search for his relatives while battling against dangerous creatures, solving forgotten puzzles, and exploring a gigantic map of diverse biomes filled with secrets and ancient lore. On his way, he will come to discover one more hidden realm known as the Astral World, which will have him facing new enemies, areas, and challenges. As a combat-heavy game, Shifters will provide you with a rich combo system on top of your armaments, which will allow you to mix and match different skills in order to create unique combos and dispose of your enemies in fresh and stylish ways. Shifters has no release date as of yet, but has been confirmed for PC. Following, we have Aestic, an atmospheric action platformer Metroidvania title that draws inspiration from games like Hollow Knight. In Aestic, you will get to explore the titular realm as you investigate the source of a mysterious corruption that drives sane creatures mad. Your task will not be easy, since the world is as treacherous as it is haunting, with rabid monsters and deadly traps lurking around every corner. Thankfully, you won't be alone in your journey, since you'll also get the opportunity to have different pets follow you around, which will be providing unique advantages to make your life easier. On a last note, Aestic will also feature a moral decision-making system where different events will occur depending on your choices at certain parts of the story, meaning you will benefit from multiple playthroughs if you want to see everything this tale has to offer. Aestic has no release date as of yet, but has been confirmed for PC, as well as the Nintendo Switch. Trotting onwards, we find Oathblade: The Wind Rises, an action-adventure Metroidvania game with a focus on combat, platforming, and exploration. Oathblade takes place in China during the Han Dynasty, and follows a warrior whose brother and master were murdered as a result of persecution. Wielding your sharp blade, you will traverse the Chinese Empire, hacking and slashing your way to vengeance. Oathblade: The Wind Rises has no release date as of yet, but will be coming out for PC. bit beyond we have Playbound, an action-adventure Metroidvania that harkens back to the nostalgic era of the 80s and 90s. You are Kelvin, a young boy who comes to the terrible realization that your parents have been afflicted with a malady that makes them fatally boring. Deciding to take matters into your own hands, you go out into the world to find a cure, only to realize that a strange force of super boring evil has been spreading its influence, making grown-ups want to work rather than play. In order to save everyone, including your parents, you'll have to go in search of your parents' ancient childhood toys and harness their magical power to defeat boredom for good. Playbound is filled to the brim with nostalgia for those born during the 80s and 90s, which comes into the form of Kelvin's equipment as well as the collectibles you'll find on your way. From your weaponized yo-yo to your Velcro light-up kicks, all the way to your 56k modem and slap bracelets, you'll get to explore the vast interconnected world of a child's imagination, which is never really what it seems. Playbound has no release date as of yet, but has been confirmed for PC. On our way to the finish line, there's Soul Child, a 2D pixel art Metroidvania that omits combat in favor of storytelling and challenging precision platforming. Soul Child tells the story of Silk, a little demon who's kicked out of his realm along with his brother after a war that finds a new demon king taking the throne. Soul Child is a combatless platformer that has you exploring its world with the help of masks that you find, each one giving you unique abilities in order to progress across the various areas on your quest to return home. If you're a fan of precision platforming games, I'd recommend keeping an eye out on this one. Soul Child has no release date as of yet, but has been confirmed for PC. Third from the end, we have Sword Swallower, a fast-paced action Metroidvania with an interesting approach to combat and platforming. In Sword Swallower, you'll get to traverse a psychedelic, gothic world by only utilizing the enormous blade you drag across your trail. Combat and platforming both revolve around the handling of the sword, which you can throw around in order to both cut your enemies to mincemeat, but also teleport to it, effectively navigating the various areas of the map in a way that will test your reflexes, since precision will be mandatory to survive the journey. Sword Swallower has no release date as of yet, but has been confirmed for PC. Nearing the finale, there's Umbra Sepulchre, a brutal Metroidvania title with Souls-like elements. Umbra Sepulchre puts you into the role of a necromancer who struggles with greed and death. The game aims to tell a non-linear story which allows you to unravel the mysteries of its world depending on which path you'll take, giving freedom in terms of exploration and discovery. Your main source of power here will be the souls of dead entities you will be gathering, which will grant you access to new and terrifying skills that you'll be able to use to wreak havoc upon your enemies. Umbra Sepulchre has no release date as of yet, but has been confirmed for PC. Finally, we have Whisper in the Dark, a 2D pixel art action-adventure Metroidvania title inspired by the cinematic work of Studio Ghibli. You are Whisper, an emissary of the darkness who is sent to investigate a world that was supposed to die a long time ago, yet still remains alive for unknown reasons. Living in a universe where balance between light and darkness needs to be maintained and worlds are expected to eventually reach their natural conclusions, Whisper embarks on an unprecedented journey across this mysterious realm, where he will face certain choices that will test his loyalties and force him to consider whether his own moral compass may be different from what he's been taught the natural order of things is. Featuring smooth and fast-paced combat, a large interconnected map full of mystery and wonder, as well as a beautiful soundtrack to boot, Whisper in the Dark is shaping up to become a truly memorable adventure for fans of the genre. Whisper in the Dark has no release date as of yet, but has been confirmed for PC. What did you think of these games? Did you already know about them? Are you planning to try any of them out? Let me know in the comments below, and feel free to point out any obscure titles you may have come across. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. Until next time, Soulsborne Seeker out!